It's time to spread the word to friends, family, and the universe. 24 hours of music and talk. Radio without limits. That's why people keep coming back for more. That's ubnradio.com.
Hey, everybody, it is Wednesday, December the 2nd. I'm Emerson Collins.
And I'm Del Shores.
And you're listening to The Del and Emerson Show.
Straight talk.
Real gay! Yay! Oh my gosh, hello, Del Shores.
Hello, Emerson Collins.
For all of you listening at home, and of course to our enormous studio audience, we are having a very special Del Shores birthday celebration episode. Woo! It is Del Shores' birthday tomorrow, so we are celebrating for today and all of tomorrow and through the weekend because you should celebrate for like a birth week.
Am I thirsty?
What was
What
that?
on earth was that?
What?
Them playing tricks. That's for your birthday.
Oh.
Yes!
Oh, that was Tony Sweet? Oh,
Yay.
Thank you, Tony. All right. Well,
Happy birthday. You don't look a day over a low number.
like 56?
Not a day. Not
No,
a single day.
I'll be
In fact,
58.
a few under.
58
58.
tomorrow. Can you believe that? How did
You've been
this-
roaming this planet for 58 years.
You know what's more frightening is I have
What?
a daughter that's 23 and one that will be 26 in a week. That's what's crazy to me. It's like, I don't know how this happened.
They're like real grown-up people.
Like, ugh, the other day I was at the cleaners and I told them it was going to be my birthday. I love these ladies. And they go, are you excited? Are you excited? I said, no, because I realize I'm closer to death than birth. I mean, that's... That's
Well, that's a lovely
with
sentiment.
That uplifting news. I mean, and she said, oh, no. And I go, okay, you add up 58 twice. It's not going to happen. I'm not an old
Gonna
Russian
be one of those
woman.
living to 116,
No.
not doing it.
I don't eat yogurt.
Well, look at it this way. You've accomplished more than half of what you're going to, so that deserves some celebration.
Oh, maybe so. Maybe.
That's like, I feel like once you get over the top of the hill, it's like, ooh, it's a jog, coasting, and look at you doing so much.
Yeah, and you know, and the thing is, I mean, honestly, we don't start really accomplishing things until like mid-20s, something like that, right?
Right.
Like, you know, accomplishing, okay, high school, college.
Right.
But doing shit.
Yes. But tomorrow, you get the life participation trophy. You did it. You managed to not die. That's how I feel about birthdays. It's like, you did it.
What's the
You
alternative?
didn't die.
I'm
now,
excited about this birthday, actually. It's been a great year. And, yeah.
I'm going to say, first of all, I need to tell you what happened right before the show because Del, ever the greatest of engaging with fans across everywhere and everything, and he's live streaming, and I'm trying to get the radio show ready, and he wants me to play, and I was like, we got a show to do. And
He was
like,
not that nice. He was
Emerson's
not that
so
nice.
bitchy right now, and I was like, well, I mean, somebody's got to keep the lights on and the wheels running while you tap dance for the people. It's how we balance.
Well, it's
but
true.
I'm going
It's
to put
true.
all that aside, and genuinely, on behalf of all of the fans of the listeners of our show, of all of the people in our world, when I think about how many amazingly talented people we know that benefit from the work that you do, from the opportunities you have given all of us, from the laughs that you bring all of us, to the very serious themes that you have helped so many people's lives and mine. Southern Baptist Sissies changed my life before I ever met you. So on behalf of all of us, and all snark aside, a very sincere thank you, and we love you, and happy birthday.
This made me get a little emotional.
I know, was that hard for you, for me to be sincere for that long?
There was the sincerity made me want to laugh and cry at the same time.
I know. Well, see, here's the trick. If you're nice all the time, people expect it. If you're
Right.
never nice, when you do it, it's such a joyful surprise.
Oh, and it makes you just kind
Yes.
of gasp. But thank you for that. I
But
appreciate
genuinely
it.
and truly.
And I do. We wrote an email that goes out tomorrow, and I truly, truly mean that all of you out there listening and all the people who have embraced our work, it's because of you that we get to do what we do. I mean, we have a pretty cool life.
Yes.
You know, we get to do fun things and you know, yeah, sometimes worry about money, but you know.
Well, of course,
then
but that's
you-
just the fun part of life. I mean, if
Yeah.
it was easy, it wouldn't be fun.
So yeah,
That's what I tell myself, that trust fund kids, that like, that just must be what's the fun in that?
Well, I think it sometimes that. Well, I don't know. I wouldn't mind trying it out for a
Right,
a
if I
few
could do it for a
days.
year or two and see how it worked.
What about you, John? Just a good trust fund for a few years. See how it goes?
But so for everyone listening, tomorrow, make sure you go to Del's page and leave him a thank you, why you love him, what your favorite thing about his work, some story where I made a fun little graphic that's Del with the Sorted Lives cast for his birthday. Share that with your friends and share one of those stories with him. I think that we don't often take time to remember to say thank you, and I think that's my favorite part of birthdays. Birthdays is when I remember to tell people that you love every single day, that you love them, so that they don't don't forget.
Well, I want to tell you that, I make wishes for my birthdays. I make goals for my birthdays. And I said the other day, jokingly, I said, I just want Andrew Christian underwear, and I've got 9 pair from fans. So just, you guys
ask and you shall receive.
Sending me underwear, thank you. They're very nice. And I don't need a lot. That's what we wrote, and I wrote in this note that I'm sending out tomorrow. I don't need a lot. I just want people to continue to support us, and a few more investors for a sorted wedding would be an amazing birthday present, because we're getting so close to saying we're going to be greenlit soon.
Yes.
I believe that. So, but thank you all. So let's move on.
Well, enough about you. No, I'm kidding.
Enough. Yes.
How was your Thanksgiving? Were you thankful?
I was very thankful. I mean, I celebrated with Dr. Eve and Wardell. I just, Newell and Rosemary and their family, my kids' grandparents, and my daughter Carrie was in town. And it's always great to have your daughters around, Rebecca and her boyfriend Chauncey. So it was lovely.
Did you eat real good?
I ate a lot, but I only gained. I always do this thing where I gain weight and lose weight, and then I weigh every single morning. And usually on a good Thanksgiving, I can gain like 4 pounds.
Oh.
And I only gained 1 pound.
Oh.
And it's gone.
You should have had that seconds and fourths.
I don't know what happened, but...
All those brother boy rolls.
Yes. I had a great Thanksgiving, except I didn't realize, because I was with an Italian family, and they only made white chicken breasts, and I only eat dark meat turkey. Like, that's my thing.
No turkey?
No, it was like turkey breasts only.
Oh, okay.
But like no dark meat. I was like, what?
That's almost racist.
I know. I was like, what is happening here? But the company was delightful. Did you go shopping for Black Friday?
I did. Well, before the 9 pair of underwear arrived, I went to Andrew Christian and bought 5 pair of underwear. So
just afloat.
My goal is to have one for every day of the year.
Have you ever met him?
Andrew Christian?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good. I was going to say, because he sure owes you a thank you, because you've been doing free publicity for him for years.
I know it. He should sponsor the show, I think. I'm become good friends with the manager at Andrew Christian. Really
nice.
Sweet guy. So,
very.
Yes, I met Andrew on a cruise, on a
nice.
Singapore cruise, and we're going to talk about Singapore a little bit.
We
later.
are. I went out for Black Friday in the afternoon just for a little bit, because I worked in retail for so many years that I actually liked that day, because you show up at work and you're done. Like, feels like 5 minutes later because everyone's crazy. Do you watch the trampling videos?
I watched them.
Oh my God, it's my favorite thing.
I didn't like that some of them got really, really violent. That kind of made me nervous. But there was one where they were just on the floor rolling.
The 2 guys, the homoerotic wrestling match? Yes! They weren't even in a store. They were like out in the mall, like walkways.
And I liked it. Did you see the one where it was, I don't know what was in that package, but it was as big as the UBN banner behind it. They were like
It's usually a TV.
Is that what it was?
Wait, did you see the racist white lady? Because that was my favorite, the worst.
Yes,
ever.
I did.
Where she grabs a toy away from this adorable little, like, must have been like 3-year-old black girl with her mother there. She grabs it from the child, and then the mother goes to grab from her to get it back, and she starts screaming, "Why are you being so aggressive right now?" And I was like, you're straight up racist. You are trying to make people
got
think.
on camera.
I was like, I hope somebody watched it and identified her, because like, ma'am, that is rude. And
how do you go to work the next day?
be like, well, I got my child's Christmas present by stealing it from another child.
You've
like,
gone viral.
If you fight with an adult, if your parents looking for a discount, hey, all bets are off. Like, who got it first? Whose hands were on it? What you snatch that toy from a child.
I've never cared enough about anything to wrestle for it. Have you?
No,
I mean,
no.
It just.
I read somebody on the internet said that by watching those videos, we were making fun of poor people, and I was like, I'm all about a discount. I have more than once in my life shown up at midnight to go shopping. I'm not laughing at poor people. I'm laughing at crazy people.
That was not those people wrestling over that big old box. Those were not poor people. They had the $500 something in there. It was not poor people.
I was like, if you need a discount and you can wait in an orderly line like a normal human being.
Absolutely.
At any income level, I like a bargain.
Yeah.
All right, well, shall we get on to the news? Because there's some fun
Yeah.
things to talk about. In our equality update, I had one thing to add because it just happened today. Louisiana's next governor, that's been John Bell Edwards, who will go in a month, has already said that he plans to sign an executive order to protect his state's gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender state employees from being fired, being discriminated against, or harassed based on their identity and orientation, which is like poor
Crazy.
Louisianans and Bobby Jindal, like a 180 flip. So that's very exciting.
Is he
progress
Democrat?
down there? I actually don't know. I don't pay a lot of attention to
Someone tell
Louisiana
us.
politics.
Well, that I love that. I love that. I'm just starting. By the way, I just back to me because it's my birthday.
your birthday.
Tomorrow. I'm
You
going to do
can.
a tour, and I'm going to include Louisiana in February and March. Louisiana and a lot of Florida. So
Nice.
yeah. So
That's
I'm
exciting.
going to hit 3 cities in Louisiana, I think. So.
All right. Well, we have
All
fun
right.
South American news.
Yeah, we've got 2 Brazilian straight actors who kissed, and they're 2 of the biggest actors locked lips at Brazil's GQ Men of the Year Awards in Rio de Janeiro to protest homophobia and machismo. Bruno Gaglioso, and I don't know how to say his first name, but it's like Joao Vincent de Castro. Somebody tell me how to say that. Both heterosexuals sent Brazilian social media into a frenzy after their kiss went viral. Gaglioso shared a photo of the kiss to his Instagram account. You can go to his Instagram and find that, and I think we've got this on screen here, dedicating the kiss to all the macho card carrier, hypocritical, and prejudiced to show that there's nothing wrong with showing our affection and love for another man. The actor, who has a long history of supporting LGBT rights and had played a gay character on a Brazilian soap opera, said that he wanted to use the kiss to challenge the nation's view on what it means to be macho. He has said that the macho image often portrayed on television has an unhealthy effect on both young, straight, and LGBT Brazilians. I was thinking about this, and I think that I would like to nominate Hugh Jackman, and you choose his partner, because I think that we need some
To do the same?
To do the same. Just
Wait, I thought we were nominating straight. Or we're going to nominate straight ones?
Oh my God! You
I'm
did
just
not
kidding.
do that.
Allegedly,
You did
allegedly,
not do
never.
that.
And Jake Gyllenhaal, Hugh Jackman, and Jake Gyllenhaal.
That's good.
Those would be good choices.
That's good. Yeah.
for men that are very supportive of our community that could stand up and do that.
Well, Jake does support us greatly, so that would be that would be good.
Yes. Well, and I just love that because you've talked a lot about your experience with that in the Latino community as well, the way you grew up. So I love that story.
I do too. I absolutely do. So, shall we flash through the gay news?
Yes. Yesterday was World AIDS Day, and we want to talk a couple of things about that because, of course, for people living with HIV, that's a story that impacts them every single day. But we take the 1st of December and really focus on the need for people to know their options, to know their status, and remove the stigma associated with people living with HIV.
And I want to give a shout out to Scott Huffman, who wrote a very wonderful piece on an early frost, its anniversary. Scott's a big fan of Queer as Folk and of an early frost, and my friends wrote that beautiful movie, and it was 30 years old. It turned 30 in November. Made-for-television movie, was the very first ever to address AIDS, with the story of a young closeted gay lawyer diagnosed with AIDS. During a time when so little was known about the disease, the film dared to give the mysterious and frightening gay disease a human face. Ron Cowan, Dan Lippman, who later created Queer as Folk. They were my bosses for 3 years, the most wonderful people. They wrote the teleplay, and it aired. 34 million people watched the film. It beat football, Monday Night Football, earning it the night's #1 spot. And censors demanded that they balance their presentation, meaning essentially that the movie should not condone homosexuality, and Ron and Dan rewrote the teleplay at least 13 times, carefully negotiating revisions with censors with every round to preserve as much of the integrity of their story as possible. As the writers demanded, the movie ends with a hopeful symbolism rather than dying. The main character, with his embracing parents watching, rides off into the night in a taxi cab. It was nominated for 14 Emmy Awards, winning 4, including Lippman and Cowan's teleplay. It also, tomorrow also marks the 15th anniversary of the premiere of Queer as Folk. It premiered on my birthday 15 years ago.
That's exciting.
So, yeah,
they've had a huge impact, in our community.
They've done so much. I mean, I had emails from them last night because Scott sent me the article. I posted it on Facebook. And if you read the comments of how that movie affected lives, it makes me emotional, how many young boys could not watch the movie unless it was a secret. They had to watch it secretly. And the effect that it had. Some guy said that the moment he saw that, he came out the next day. I mean, it had such an impact on people's lives, and there was so much fear back then, so much fear of the disease and getting it. And can you imagine being closeted and yet also this disease is looming, and you're hearing from pulpits that this is God's judgment on you, and this is who you are. So
that's interesting when you think about, people coming out because of that, and how many people came out because of Queer as Folk, or watched it, quietly, or Sordid Lives. Like, thinking about the work that you all have done, that how much of our artistic representation is what often has allowed people to show conservative or disapproving family members or communities, this is who I am, and I'm not alone. I'm not the only one like this. It's sort of an impressive impact across 30 years of entertainment.
That's what Ron and Dan were writing me. They said, you forget that, and it's so touching when someone writes and tells you that. So I don't get tired of it. I mean, every now and then somebody writes me and they go, I know you've heard this before. And I go, no, share it with me, because it drives us. It really does drive me to continue to do what I do. That's why I keep just shamelessly asking people for money to make my new movie.
Yes.
So.
Well, and in celebrating that, we talk a lot about, there are so many, the trans community is growing in visibility, and certainly the gay community has had visibility for quite some time, particularly with white men, but there's not a lot of openly HIV positive people that are very publicly known, and I just sort of wanted to send our love and appreciation to, of course, Greg Louganis, who it's been, 20 years now that he has been proudly and openly talking about these issues, and we have Andy Bell, who the lead singer of Erasure, and Danny Pintaro, who came out this year, and Mickey Blanco is a queer artist who came out earlier this year on Facebook, talking about, wanting to be open in his art and his life. And of course, Angina from RuPaul's Drag Race. I remember watching that episode where she broke down and shared that as the first queen to tell us that story. And then one of my personal favorites, Jack McEnroth, who was a Project Runway contestant and is continuously and hugely an advocate for removing the stigma and education and working with apps and programs. And so to sort of celebrate which is sort of sadly a very small group of extremely visible people.
Jim J. Bullock was one of the first as well,
Yes.
who we worked with on Southern Baptist Sissies when he replaced Leslie Verhoeven. And I think he was kind of outed in a tabloid, but immediately just owned it and has been a champion for many, many years of being open about it. And so a lot of heroes out there. And,
yes, and we say thank you to the leaders in that community, but it is incumbent upon all of us, particularly in our community, but also across all communities, to remember that HIV does not discriminate based on sex, race, orientation, identity, income, anything. Education is important, and knowing your options and knowing your status is the most important steps we can take to reducing all the way to zero new
We just found out Danny will be on Jasper Cole's show in a couple hours.
That's exciting.
So, yeah. Awesome.
All right,
so
flash
anyway,
it on.
And really, before we leave this, I just want to say once again, thank you, Dan and Ron, for all you've done for our community and for what you've done for me personally. You gave me 3 of the best years of my life working on that show.
Yes.
I loved it so much and so proud of what we all
I was
did.
hiding watching Queer as Folk on a VHS tape at a friend's house.
Well, I was a fan before I was hired, and I was hired because of Southern Baptist Sissies, as you know. They literally came. Susie Kurtz, I directed in a movie, and she came to see Sissies, and she told them, I've got your next writer, and she was right. So I owe Swoozie some commission.
All right, flashing home.
All right, we've got some very interesting. Holland Taylor has come out publicly. And I mean, if we live in Hollywood, we have known this for years. And but Holland Taylor may be best known for her role as the bisexual grandmother on 2.5 Men, and is Peggy Peabody on The L Word. At 72 years old, she talked about her sexual identity for the first time in a recent interview. Host Anna Sale asked, "Do you find yourself enticed by marriage?" And Taylor responded, "Well, my relationship is with a woman, and I have not. Given my generation, it would not be something that would automatically occur to me." When asked what her girlfriend's name was, she said, "Well, I feel at this point in this conversation, it feels kind of awkward. I've been really wrestling with this lately because of most of my relationships have been with women, and I don't like talking about them because I don't like talking about the politics of it all because I am not political at all. I think that we're ridiculous in this country about it, ridiculous. And so it's awkward because if I talk about relationships in my life or people that have been in my life or somebody I've been seeing for a while or this or that or the other thing, I'd like to be able to just say without having to stop and say, so have you come out?" And she says, "No, I have not come out because I am out and I live out."
I'm going to sort of give her a pass because I find it irritating, the statement, frankly, for her age. That she is of a generation where you did not talk about your personal life is the reason I'm going to excuse that we're ridiculous in our country about it. Because that's a really convenient thing to say as
I don't like that
extremely
either.
wealthy and successful person that like, oh, I don't want to get political about it. Because, well, I don't know that when it's your life, like being political about it is politics.
Right.
That's your life and that's quality. And so that's irksome, and I'm going to go ahead and say, fine, you're 72, and thanks for joining the ranks.
And there was
because we've talked about welcoming people when they come out, and so I do want to welcome her. But that aspect of that kind of quote of like, well, we're just ridiculous. Really? Are we? Because still not equal for everybody in all aspects of our society.
Absolutely
so it's not that ridiculous.
I agree with you on that, and yes, I will give her a pass as well, because and also we have to go back to the time where she made it in Hollywood, and I don't think she would have if she had said, "Hey, y'all, I'm a lesbian." I mean,
right.
You know.
But I have always said and will continue to say, no matter how long it took someone to get there, once they get there, welcome them and whatever came before. And so thank you, Holland. Thank you for standing up. Thank you for
Big
publicly
news
joining us. And I feel like this young girlfriend may have been the cause.
Well, and you know, we debated about this because...
Well, it's rumored. You can say that. It's not come from either of them.
Why am I going up on her name?
Sarah Paulson.
Sarah Paulson
is the rumored girlfriend.
The rumored, but people has reported that, so it is all over the internet right now. So we're not, spreading something that is not out there. But wow, good for you, Holland.
Yes,
if that's true.
All right, Fashion On. This story I love because it's absolutely absurd. We've talked many times about the issues that the LGBT community faces in Russia. Well, the Russian Maxim magazine, no connection to the American one, to be very clear, released a list of 10, quote, gays we respect, saying this: "We men do not consider men who love men to be men, but there are exceptions. There are gays who have earned our respect and the right to remain real men in our eyes." Isn't that so kind of them? I feel like that's so generous. On their list...
I just almost threw up when I read this story.
On their list were Freddie Mercury, Sir Ian McKellen, because, of the comic book movies, Alan Turing, Oscar Wilde. Like, they had to reach to find 10. I was like, what? You like his prose and his plays? And Neil Patrick Harris barely made the cut. They said, "We aren't sure about Neil Patrick Harris on the list. After all, he declared himself a happy gay in 2006, but his performance as Barney Stinson in the series How I Met Your Mother hasn't left us indifferent. It's impossible not to respect someone who elevated the hunt for girls into a true art, who systematized all the tricks and techniques and created the bro code, even if he was just acting the role, but how he acted." Which I love that they don't get that, like, the joke is that Barney Stinson is ridiculous. That his bro code, his, like, treatment of women, that was the joke.
Yeah.
Bless their hearts.
Oh, it's just stupid.
There were a couple others, but those were the big ones on the list. And I was like, I just guess we should send them like an edible arrangement or something and say thank you for at least considering a few of us true men.
I'd like to just send them a big Russian Maxim, fuck you. That's what I'd like to send them, a big fuck you.
Oh, they might respect you then. Well, and in related news, a Russian anti-LGBT politician, the one who helped craft much of the propaganda legislation, wants to ban Game of Thrones to protect Russia's informational space from the influence of Western ideology. He claimed that 1 in 10 characters in Game of Thrones is a sexual deviant. Have you watched the show?
I have not, and
Okay.
I know that
That percentage seems real low to me. I feel like on that show, it's more like 4 in 10.
Well, the clips
And-
I've seen, I think you're right.
And according to his particular perspective, I would think it's more like 8 or 9 in 10, not my personal one. He said it is not the point of scenes of violence or elements of advocating violence, which is at issue. Once again, violence not a
no,
problem.
not a problem.
Giant mass murder. I'm sure that part where they skin somebody alive, that's not a problem. I'm sure the castration scene probably turned him on a little bit. He said the point is that happens. There's a scene.
I can't watch it now.
Like a dude, like that's a thing that happens. The point is that practically any products of culture which is brought to us from the West advocates values which provoke the formation of a certain paradigm of views on politics and the reality. So we can't have that. Violence, come on in.
Oh,
I love it.
Wow.
Bless their hearts. I mean, and we mock and laugh, but it's sometimes, what can we do for the members of our community and other cultures, and at times it's difficult to see. But this that we can sort of laugh about is an environment that certainly is not funny to them. So
No,
making light of
absolutely.
the absurdity of it is not making light of the challenges that face our community living there.
So right.
Lash it
said.
on.
Well, we've got a judge in Arkansas who swapped sex spankings for lighter sentences.
Like you do. It's a barter system.
Joseph Beckman, I think Beckman,
Sure.
Arkansas judge, faces an ethics complaint that he gave preferential treatment to a number of defendants who completed work, in parentheses, in quotations, at his residence, which almost always involved performing sexual favors. They were called substitutionary sentences. So I'd like one of them substitutionary sentences. I heard you got some substitutionary sentence, sir. He apparently paid one defendant to let him take nude photographs of him for a 5-year period. He must have done something awful. 5 years.
I mean,
He also apparently had sexual relations with a young defendant who lived with him. He got room and board.
Bed and breakfast.
The judge showered the man with gifts. He bought him cars, even a boat. That doesn't sound like such a
I mean,
harsh
I go
sentence.
to this kind of prison.
he's-
You want to spank me a few times and give me a boat?
But then he'd spank him regularly for sexual pleasure as for punishment to the defendant for his criminal conduct. The defendant received money for this conduct if the spankings were sought for Beckman's pleasure. Apparently, he cannot be removed from office.
Well, guess he can do what he wants.
He can only face an ethics complaint. It's like we've got a picture of him.
I got to be honest. If I was standing before a judge and he was like, you can go to prison for 20 years or you can come to my house and get spanked, I'd be like, I'll take the spanking, please.
But I need to follow up on this because I would like to, like when this hit, I don't know how he can sit behind that. I don't know how you don't resign. I mean,
Well,
at
if they
this
can't
point.
fire you, you go, well, sorry about
So
it.
you're going to sit there and I'm going to say, excuse me, Judge, I'd like to bring something up before you sentence me.
I'd like to inquire about them spanking sentences because that sounds real good to me. I'd love to live at your
You
house.
know we would
You
do
can
it.
take all the nudie photos of me that you want. Hey, Judge Beckman, can we talk? Now, I realize that I have no ass. I hope that is not an inhibition to these spanking sentences that you like to give out. If anything, it'll make me feel it more. You don't even have to spank me as much.
How about this? How about he goes, do you have any questions before I sentence you? Yes, sir, I do. I'd like to ask about the spankings. How hard are they?
What
And
is
what
the
do
tool
you
that you
use?
use
Yes, what do
for
you
the
use?
spankings? Are we talking about red or are we talking about breaking the skin? Is this negotiable?
Is it bare-assed? Is it
Well,
bare-assed?
I presume. I'm fine. That's fine. I can accept. I feel like my great trauma would be like, please, sir. Like, I'd be like, y'all, I need some padding. I need to stuff
Order
these-
in the court.
I gotta
Order
stuff
in
these
the
pants.
court.
I'd be like, sir, I gotta stand up. Hold on, y'all. Judge, I dropped something. Hold on. Hold on. Hey,
Okay.
Your Honor. Your
5
Honor. I'm
years.
so sorry. I dropped my pen.
And how do I get a boat?
Can we? Yeah. How many spankings equal a boat? Or how many spankings for room and board?
Oh my God, this story is crazy. All right, moving on.
Yes.
Moving on.
All right. Over the weekend, the last Friday, there was the incredibly tragic shooting in Colorado at the Planned Parenthood clinic, and a lot of people were commenting on the lack of response from the Republican candidates who were very, very quick to weigh in following the Paris terrorist attacks. with immediate responses. And Ted Cruz was actually the first to respond on Saturday. And many, of course, on the left made the link between the shooting and the anti-Planned Parenthood rhetoric that's happened of late, particularly the misconstruing of the videos that have gone around because there are allegations that the shooter mentioned baby body parts as he was being arrested, which is, of course, some of the language that's been used even by some of the candidates. And so when Cruz was asked about it, he rejected the suggestion that the shooter was part of the anti-abortion movement, taking issue with the what he called vicious rhetoric on the left, blaming those who are pro-life. But a reporter mentioned his comment about baby parts, and Cruz countered with this. It's also been reported that he was registered as an independent and a woman and transgendered leftist activist, if that's what he is. We know that he was a man who was registered to vote as a woman. The media promptly wants to blame him on the pro-life movement, when at this point there is very little evidence to suggest that. Now, it has been made very clear since that it is a clerical error that is the reason his voting card was marked as a woman. He got his driver's license changed. It was filled in the wrong bubble, but Cruz in his
just jumped on it.
Well, and immediately
like a June
jumped
bug.
to link somehow the word and the community, the transgender community, with these actions. And no politician says things without being aware of the implications that they are making. So while trying to make the point that we shouldn't jump to conclusions, he jumped to the absolute opposite conclusion in order to have that word in the headlines associated with this horrific act.
I am horrified that he is gaining in the polls. There's a concern now for me because he's third or fourth. And I'm like, really? Because Ben Carson or Donald Trump, I don't know that they can get that nomination.
I know, but what excites me, honestly, about Ted Cruz is that he is so extreme out in the things that he has said and the things that he believes that a final debate between him and any Democrat, I think, would send independents running to the left. So, but it's frustrating to watch him, of course, to a community that faces violence on a regular basis, and particularly a community that has members that need, because of health insurance issues, need the services provided by places like Planned Parenthood, for him to link that community with this horrific tragedy that is clearly not motivated in the way he wanted to suggest, was particularly vile and disgusting.
It's just disgusting that he uses this for political gain. He's just a disgusting human being. Okay, we have Adam Lambert in the news. He's fighting homophobia in Singapore. He's scheduled to perform at Celebrate 2016, a New Year's Eve concert in Singapore. A petition started, signed by 20,000 people, claiming he is he's well known for his active promotion of a highly sexualized lifestyle and LGBT rights, both of which are contrary to mainstream Singaporean values. Adam tweeted, "Fighting homophobia one song at a time," and he confirmed he will perform, saying, "My performance at Celebrate 2016 will not only be a spectacular one, it will celebrate the entire human family in all its diversity. I'm a uniter, not a divider, and I believe in celebrating the human heart and spirit." A counterposition has been started and now has 25,000 signatures.
Right.
So yay. And we love Adam
And it's
Lambert.
interesting, he's so huge around the rest of the world, and his last album was really great, and I feel like iHeartRadio and like the Clear Channel world just doesn't want to play it, so he's like, fine, I'll tour the rest of the world and share my extremely entertaining stage performances and incredible vocal gifts with the rest of the world. And good for him for being out there and touring through parts of the world that are not receptive to LGBT people and saying, I'm going to stand on the stage and show people it is just fine and sing my face off.
And Kylie's been okay with not being very big in America. You know?
That's worked real well for a number of people.
Right, yeah.
I feel like it's our loss.
It's like, really. And I love Adam Lambert. I've met Adam Lambert before he was famous, as you know, at St. Felix. He was there sitting, and I went up to him and said, "Hey, you're going to be in the top 12." And he said, I just want a record deal. That's all I want. And then he
worked out real well on that
loved
part.
Sorted Live, so we had where did we see him? Oh, at the premiere of Shane, the Bridegroom. Yeah, because he had a song in that.
Right.
So, all right, moving on.
We did this story earlier this year about the horrifying video that happened at Dallas Barbecue in New York City that showed one man smashing another man over the head with a chair, just knocking him straight to the floor. So I figure some of you will remember this. Well, now it is finally arriving in court, and the man who tossed the chair just clocked out the other gentleman, Banya El-Amin, is suing the couple that he beat at the store and the witnesses of the attack for defamation, as well as the restaurant, claiming that since the video of him beating the men went viral, he has been labeled a homophobic hate criminal and that it has destroyed his life. Which one is true? It turns out that he is also a gay man, and so like the hate crime aspect of it, many people thought it was a gay bashing moment. It wasn't. It was. I mean, that wasn't it. However, I go to like right, but it doesn't take away from like the horrible assault portion of the video. He said his only crime was to be a man of color wrongly accused by his attacker, a privileged white man. He said the video was edited. And in response to the chair moment, he claims he was left with no choice but to smash it over the men's head because he feared for his life and he needed a way to safely retreat from his attackers. Now,
I've never been in that situation.
Ever. Well, not only that, it's on the video.
That was my only choice.
We certainly don't know how it started, and it's quite possible that the other gentleman started the actual physical engagement. That is true. The video starts in the middle of the altercation. However, prior to the chair moment, like his friends drag him one direction, the other guy's friends are pulling them that direction. The door is behind him, and then he comes running back with the chair. Like it's like, I'm going to finish this.
He ain't going to win this.
No.
I don't think he's going to win.
That's awkward.
So,
and I feel like there's like it is there, black and white. That the attack portion. Certainly, we don't know how it started.
Ironically, black and white.
Yeah. And who knows? And it's possible the other men said things that instigated and swung the first. But like at some point, there's an element of like if I punch you in the arm and you shoot me, like there's a disproportionate in response in a situation.
Yeah, I think he had other choices. I don't think that was his only.
It was an interesting aspect of the story though to follow when it first happened. That it was very much like hate crime, and then it was like, oh, he's gay too, and it was like, oh, okay, so just horrifying crime,
right?
Just that's okay. Just still terrible.
All right, moving on.
In other news,
we've got a British performing arts teacher that I really love this story because he countered a homophobic parent. And his name, Michael Neary, he's 26-year-old drama teacher in the UK, shared a message he received from a parent who informed him that her children would not be attending his class because his lifestyle clashed with her Christian beliefs. You want to read the mother?
Yes.
Yes, please do, because you did that so
Hello,
well.
Michael. I have decided that my children will not be attending classes on Monday. I have recently learned of your lifestyles, and as a Christian, I cannot allow my children to be influenced by unconventional ideas. It is our belief that a man should marry a woman. I look forward to receiving my deposit, which you may post to me by check.
Oh, I should have worked on my British accent. Hi, I would be lying if I said I was disappointed to hear this. I pride my students on the respect and love that they have for others and their passion for equality. You would only be infringing on our family. As far as I am aware, my sexuality doesn't affect my ability to teach. I wish you luck in finding an appropriate stage school that meets your needs. However, from experience, I find that theater without gays is like cooking without spices. I hear Stagecoach are enrolling, but their teachers have been known to wear mixed fabrics, which I'm sure you're aware is forbidden in the Bible. Please, please feel free to come to our Happy Days musical. Confetti will be used as a finale, but please rest assured, this is not an attempt to corrupt your Christian lifestyle. We just love glitter. Unfortunately, deposits are not refundable, but don't worry, your deposit has been donated to Stonewall, an LGBT charity.
I love that. He posted the whole thing as a text message. First of all, that was great. It sounded like you were narrating a lovely little like Christmas cooking special. It was so good. I just started watching the Great American Bake Off. It's
if
like
we only had rehearsal time, Emerson,
I know.
We're
really
duet
busy
acting,
doing things, doing scenes. We're ready for UIL. Let's go to state. That he sent this in a text message to this woman.
That's a long
amazing.
text.
But also that it's I love that it's so like hilariously obvious. Like you signed your kids up for theater camp.
Right.
Ma'am, are you confused as to like how theater works?
It's a nest of sissies, honey.
It is a little bit. Like I'm not saying there's not a straight man, but it's a little harder to find one than it is a homosexual.
Oh my God, this poor woman.
And there was even more to his story. It was so great. But I was like, can you imagine?
I loved him. I just loved his response.
You know, he showed it to all his friends, and he was like, look at her. Look at her. In the words of Johnny McGovern.
I wonder if it was a voice text, because with my accent, I am having the hardest time with voice texting. It just says like, I can't even give a good example, but have you done that where you don't do voice text?
I
do you?
don't.
I do voice text because sometimes I'm
doing things busy.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
and long.
Right.
And Leslie Jordan has discovered voice text because
Oh, Lord.
I get these. They're as long as this right here,
Like just a monologue.
What about this idea? And
He should just send you voice memos. You need to teach him how to do that because Leslie Jordan sending you like 4-minute voice memos would be so great because we could play them on a radio.
I did a voice memo. Yeah.
Yes. Tell him, say, stop texting me. Just record it as a voice memo and send it to me.
He doesn't have an iPhone. He has, and I
Oh.
can't teach anybody on smartphones that are not iPhones. I barely can.
yeah.
In fact, Erica, if you're listening, I need you to help me with my iPhone after the show. There's a problem. Okay, moving on.
Yes. Okay, I found this story fascinating because all is not what it seems here, I think. It happened a week and a half ago. Michael Lucas is a well-known porn impresario, and he is being sued for allegedly duping an Airbnb landlord into renting her over $1,000 a night home to him on the false pretenses and filming a gay porn there. Christina Napick claims she agreed to lease her home to a woman named Anna for 5 days in August, but she handed over the keys to a man who claimed to be Anna's brother-in-law and said she was still on her way. She said later she found out this man was gay porn actor-director Michael Lucas, and he had shot X-rated scenes at her house, which he left in, quote, a filthy state. According to her suit, there were enema kits were found throughout the house, on the floors, in the beds, in nightstand drawers, and in the trash. She said various sexual devices were found in the beds and in the trash. The hot tub water was brownish in color, and the linens were stained brown.
Stop.
She is suing for damages and a ban on the publication of the images and films made on her property. Now, Michael has since responded, saying that there was a fairly well-equipped sex dungeon not listed on the Airbnb, and that she had a history of keeping people's deposits for repairs on the property. He also shared texts that he has with her about the walkthrough after they left the house, and that everything seemed fine there in the text. Also, she was a guest living in a guest house on the property for their entire stay. Now, here's the thing. For me, Michael Lucas is not new to porn. Like, he has been doing porn for a long time. He works with professional porn actors. I feel like she was like, oh, they're shooting porn, and she just thought of every stereotype she could think of like what she thinks happens with gay sex, and said, I'm going to get some money from him, because I do not believe that Michael Lucas left a brown, dirty water hot tub. And like,
No, she dumped a flower pot in that hot tub. That's what she did.
Like, enema kits in the nightstand drawers, in the trash, and on the floors, and in the beds. Like, unless there were 300 people there, like, nobody needs that many enemas. These are professionals. This is not their first time. I guarantee that they left it cleaner than they found it.
There's something wrong
that
here.
she's
Do you
trading.
think and I wonder if he did shoot a porn there without disclosing it to her.
Well,
There's
that
like,
part is up to them in between, and who
Yeah.
knows what their agreements, and I don't know what Airbnb says. But it's like, if that was her issue, then she needed to sue based on that. It's like she's literally like shame suing, I think.
Yeah.
Because it's so like, do you know how much she would have to shit in a hot tub in order to turn the water brown?
a lot.
And not just shit, like you'd have to shark. You'd have to be like diarrhea everywhere.
Okay.
To end up with like shark soup in your hot tub, like 18 people would have to have diarrhea.
I think we have reached a new low on the Dylan Emerson
You're
Show.
welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
That's
Thank you.
hard to do, Emerson.
Thank
That
you.
is very difficult.
It's for your this is my birthday present to you.
Thank you so
But
much.
seriously, like shark soup. That's what we're gonna call it.
I am going to wake up screaming with this visual.
I hope she took
in
photos.
the morning on my birthday. I'm going to wake up screaming.
Well, I know that because we put food coloring in somebody's hot tub once, trying to like dye it a color, and like nothing happened. It's like we put in a bunch of red, nothing.
No.
We couldn't even tint it pink, and we were like dumping and dumping it. So I'm just saying, I didn't think it would
You were
take
dumping
a
and
lot of
dumping.
liquid dumps to end up with shark soup that was visible. Ladies and gentlemen, the Dylan Emerson Show. Thanks for listening.
I
and
don't even
watching.
think we need to finish.
I feel like that's enough. Well, I just feel like I'm
How
definitely.
can how do we top that?
Well, apparently, I mean, were there any tops there? All these enema kits and all this, like, I'm just going to say it one more time, shark soup. You're welcome.
Okay, in
In a hot
other
tub.
news,
All right,
Emerson.
and moving on in our trendsetter news, this is actually a very serious story and representative of the violence that so many of the trans community, particularly trans women of color, continue to face around the world. And a story has been ongoing about a U.S. Marine who killed a trans Filipina woman, and this week he was actually convicted in court. U.S. Marine Joseph Scott Pemberton was convicted of the death of a transgender Filipina woman named Jennifer Laude. He was convicted of the lesser charge of murder, which carries a sentence of between 6 and 12 years, rather than homicide, which could have up to 40 years. In 2014, the events that happened, he hired her for sex after meeting at a club. He admitted to choking her in a nearby hotel after discovering she was transgender, but claimed she was alive, though unconscious when he left her. According to his attorneys, he said he felt that he was being raped. He was so repulsed and so disgusted because he did not give his consent to allow a man to do that to him. Pemberton acted only in defense of his life and honor. The judge in the case said Pemberton's feeling that he was under threat could not be a defense for the killing. But she did say that the mitigating circumstances of passion and obfuscation should count in Pemberton's favor, this is a terrible blow to the trans community because the judge essentially said that her failure to disclose that she was transgender was a contributing factor, which led to the lesser conviction, which means that by not telling him that she was transgender, that was on her. Which reduced the sentence. So it's been a huge rallying point for transgender activists in the Philippines and certainly around the world. And the fact that it involved a U.S. soldier helped draw a lot of attention to it is a positive thing. But the fact that her not disclosing was used to lessen the charge and the sentence that he faces is an incredible damaging to the trans community, as though there is somehow that they owe something to people that they are involved with based on their status of being a trans person. So it's really sort of horrifying and demonstrates, and it's very complicated involving a U.S. Marine. Like, does he serve a sentence under the Philippine authorities or under the U.S. authorities in the Philippines? So it's really complicated.
Well, I mean, let's break it down a little bit because, I mean, you go to that place, you go, yeah, I think that people should be honest with everything they can be honest, but there is nothing that warrants killing somebody.
Right.
I mean, nothing.
Right.
Except self-defense.
Yeah.
I mean, and this obviously wasn't that. So that should not have been played. I don't think that
that
card
horrifying
should have been allowed
transparent approach that, of course, we've worked so hard to get rid of in the gay community is still alive and well in being involved in what happens when trans people are murdered. So an important issue and something that happened that is not just an issue here, but all the way around the world.
And checking in with Crazy.
Yes,
we've got our Harlem Pastor at it again. This is so crazy. I mean, really crazy. And we have the YouTube link that John is going to post for you guys. But the pastor, James David Manning, it's the Atla Worldwide Church, was the location of a Love Not Hate rally organized by the group Harlem Against Violence, Homophobia, and Transphobia to protest this church for demonizing LGBT people. Y'all remember this. He was the one that said that Starbucks was putting semen in the coffee and has really been
gay blood
and Obama and just lots of it. He literally got out there on the porch and you'll see this, with a microphone, and in sing-song he goes, oh faggots, can you please come out tonight? Oh lesbos, can you please come out tonight?
Wait, you're not going to sing it?
Would you sing it?
Yes. But there was this big old rally happening, and so he's standing out there with his megaphone inside the fence going, oh faggots, can you please come out tonight? Oh lesbos, can you please come out tonight? It was like this weird redneck bluegrass, like, awkward song.
Okay. I can't recover. And then he goes, "Where
it's gonna
are
be on my next album?
Where are your You're on fire today, Emerson.
You're welcome. It's
Where
my
are your
birthday.
candles?" And then he comes. He comes for queer people of color, and he goes, "Where are all the N-word faggots?" I guess I shouldn't say the F word either, but I will not say that word. Then we got an N faggot here. We got an N lesbian here, and lesbo. I'm not gonna. It's just crazy. Go look at it. And he goes, I'm talking to you. Look at me when I'm talking to you. So anyway.
But it was interesting because this was a big rally, and they've had multiple ones in front of his church, and this one was actually attended by a New York Assemblyman, Keith Wright, who talked about this message has no place in our community and certainly no place in the streets of Harlem spreading this kind of bigotry. So it's great to see a representative supporting it.
That got out there, yeah.
I just found out earlier today, he was at the meeting of Donald Trump with the black pastors that happened this week. Now, I'm not holding that against Donald Trump, although I would love to, because you certainly can't screen every attendee that's a part of a thing. But I was like, I mean, y'all's rhetoric isn't too far off at this point.
He also has said that he has struggled with homosexuality. Shock or...
Oh. So he's just been making excuses about, like, gay demons in the blood, gay semen in the coffee.
He got rid of his demon.
Oh. Well, maybe he'll come around and he'll release that cute little ditty as a track.
Okay.
I'd buy it. I'd make it my ringtone. Oh, faggots, can you please come out tonight? I want my phone to play that when it rings. Maybe I'll figure out how to do that, how to turn his little soundbite of that into my phone.
Please don't.
Into my phone ringer.
Okay, Emerson.
That's what's going to happen when you call me, Del Shores.
Do not give that to me for my birthday. What's gay in sports ball?
And one, just a very sweet story that I loved. Two top-level divers who met at the 2013 U.S. Championships have come out as a couple. Tanner Wilfong dives for the University of Miami, while Canadian Olympic hopeful Jamie Bissett is a graduate of Purdue University. Jamie is Canada's two-time reigning champion in the 3-meter springboard and a big hope for the 2016 Olympics. And Wilfong is believed to be the first gay active athlete at the University of Miami to publicly announce his sexuality. So they follow in the footsteps, of course, of Greg Louganis and Matthew Mitchum, who came out and won the gold medal as well, and Tom Daley for the UK. So the diving community is sort of killing it with very open and proud representation. I'm not going to blame it on the Speedos, but that's the reason I watch. Let's be honest.
Absolutely.
I love a diver body. They work so hard and they look so cute and great little butts, and it's all on display. Nothing left to the imagination. What you got going on?
Well, on Friday night, I'm leaving to Saturday night. I'm performing, and I'm gonna spell the name of this city in Oregon, and I've got to learn how to say it once I get there. It's YACHATS, Oregon. They do my plays at this wonderful theater there, and they're celebrating 10 years of their theater, and they're bringing me up to do Singularly Sorted. So it's all on my Facebook page. If you're up there close by, Portland, it's a 2-hour drive. Eugene, it's a 2-hour drive. Y'all all just come see me.
Everybody there.
In this little town.
And
I'm excited to go.
To wrap up our birthday show, I want to tell everybody, Del and I will be live streaming on his Facebook a little birthday celebration fun tomorrow afternoon at some point, and then tomorrow evening we'll be live streaming a Del Shores festive celebration.
Yeah, I've got some friends coming over, including some of the Sorted Lives cast, and we're going to live stream right there on Facebook, and you'll get to see Ann Walker, Nolan Rosemary Alexander, Emerson, and so many other people who are coming to decorate my Christmas tree. John, if you're available, come by. Tony, stop by.
So you're all invited to a Del Shores virtual birthday party tomorrow night on Facebook.
Yes, virtual.
No, but the virtual part. Y'all don't show up and make it weird.
Okay.
No. Thank you to all of you who listen to us every week. Thank you, Del Shores, for a very special birthday celebration.
Thank y'all.
We are all lucky to have you in our lives.
Oh, what is this?
'Cause you're so special in every way.
You are. Del Shores, you are so special.
Thank you, John.
And you guys are so great, and we love you all for listening every week.
I won't be here next week, but Emerson will have the gay view, and I appreciate you all. That's
Stick
the Del
around.
and Emerson Show. Tony Sweet, Jasper Cole, up next.
And our audacious Ann Walker. Bye, y'all.
Ah, the holidays. A time for giving, a time for getting, and a time for going and going.
And going, and going, and going, and going.
When you need a break, we're here, helping you make sense of all the good and the going of the holidays. Happy holidays from all of us at ubnradio.com.